Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. I'm super excited to dive into all of the content that we have to cover today. We have a lot to go through. Thank you all so much for joining and for being here. For everyone on this call, I just want to give folks just one more minute to join here. So I want to make sure that you're all able to use the question box feature within the GoToWebinar tool. So if you could please just type into that question box and say hello, let me know where you're calling in from today. I'll call out some of the responses here. For example, I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, and one of these, the great things about these webinars is it brings together folks from all different corners of the world. More specifically, I'm located in Salem, Massachusetts, so it's a super exciting time here as we approach Halloween. We've got tons of responses already coming in here, so tons of folks from all different corners, all different states are typing in right now saying hello. We have Heather from Vermont, George from San Diego, Kathy from Bloomington, Indiana, Kelly saying hello, Mia from Cape Cod, not far, Cindy from Nashville, Tennessee, Deanna from Kansas, B from Tulsa, Oklahoma. We have Jenny from Georgia, some folks from California, hello, Mark from Texas, Linda from Denver. I wish I could call out all of you, tons and tons of responses here. Thank you for participating in that. And feel free to put your questions in the question box. And again, be sure to stick around for the Q&A section at the end and add your questions in there from the end so I can answer your questions. With that, we're going to jump into a few housekeeping items for today's presentation. So just so you know that this webinar will be recorded. We're going to go through a lot and cover a lot of information, but don't worry about taking notes or anything like that. You will get the materials in your inbox later today, so be sure to be on the lookout for that. Also, please note that all of our webinar recordings are easily found on the Local IQ and WordStream YouTube channels. So if you want to catch up on this webinar or any past webinars that you missed, you can just type in Local IQ or WordStream into YouTube, find our channel, and see all of our webinar recordings, including this one over there. So again, this will be recorded. Also, I already mentioned using the question box, so feel free to use that and be sure to stick around for the Q&A section at the end where you can toss your last minute questions in and I can try and answer as many as I can before we wrap for the day. So for everyone on this call now, you might be familiar with Local IQ, you might be working with us already, and that's great. Some of you might be familiar working with our sister brands, WordStream or Reach Local, and some of you might be totally new. So for everyone on this call, I want to get us on the same page as to who Local IQ is, and it's a fully integrated growth marketing platform that marries innovative technology and unparalleled expertise to give your business the tools it needs to thrive and prosper in digital marketing. So how exactly do we do that? Well, technology is at our core. We use proprietary AI technology that's informed from data from over 1 million Local IQ campaigns that you can't find anywhere else to optimize your marketing. We also give you tools at your fingertips, all in one easy place for you to use and take time away from those menial marketing tasks and put more time back into your day for managing your business, managing your team, and so on. And we also have been in the digital marketing game for, we need to update this, well over 16 years now, which is really exciting. If you think about it, the age of digital marketing isn't much older than that. So we've really been through it all, seen all the ebbs and flows of the digital marketing landscape, and we're here to tell that story. A little bit about me, your webinar host and speaker facilitator for today. Hello, it's wonderful to meet you all. My name is Susie. I'm a senior content marketing specialist over at Local IQ, where I write educational content for the WordStream and Local IQ blogs on everything under the digital marketing sun, from SEO to PPC to display ads to Google ads, Microsoft ads, Facebook ads, social media, email marketing, you name it, and I've written about it. And how I came into this role was I previously was a digital marketing consultant over at WordStream, where I was coaching folks much like the people on this call through the day-to-day best practices on major platforms like Facebook ads, Google ads, and so on. So I took that real-life consulting experience and applied it to the educational content that I create today. Like I mentioned, I'm based in Boston, but more specifically, I just moved to Salem, Massachusetts, which, if you're familiar, is the home of the Salem witch trials, and it's a super exciting time over here as we approach Halloween. It's super busy. There's tons of historical sightings, and if anyone little note for the season, is familiar with the Disney movie Hocus Pocus. I actually live up the street from the real house because it was shot on location. So I live close by to the house, not the witch house, but the house where the kids were. And it's a popular tourist attraction. So that's a little bit about me. You can find me on LinkedIn and Twitter or X. I do share out any sort of like articles, important content that I've been creating and so on. A really common question that I get asked on these webinars is, where can you find out more about the information that we cover here? Where can you learn more about local IQ? Again, this hour is going to fly by, so if you ever need to spend a little bit more time with any of the topics that we cover too, we cover everything we cover in these webinars in depth on our blog. So just go ahead to the local IQ or Wordstream websites and navigate over to our blog, and you'll find all the information that you need there. If you ever need to spend more time with anything, you can find articles around all of the topics that we cover here. Also, be sure to follow us on social media if you want to join future webinars like this, stay up to date with platform updates, anything advertisers should be aware of, and so on. We do share that out, so check us out. You can find Local IQ on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X as we call it, and then YouTube. And then Wordstream you can find on Local IQ, Twitter, or X, Facebook, and YouTube as well. And again, this is where I'll take the opportunity to note that those are our YouTube channel links right there, and you can navigate over to there to find this webinar recording and all of our webinar recordings right on there. So again, this will be recorded. All right, great. So if you've attended any of our past webinars, you know I love to keep our audience on their toes, warm you all up with a little pop quiz. So I want you to type in that question box, let me know, what do you think your biggest challenges is for planning when it comes to 2025 marketing? How do you feel like your planning is going? Have you started? Are you not sure where to start? I'll call out some of the responses here. Again, there is no like chat feature where you can chat amongst audience members, but this question box, I'll be able to see all of your responses in there. So let me know in that question box, how you're feeling about your planning, what your biggest challenges might be, and so on. And we have tons of responses coming in from here. Deanna says she's seeing a drastic reduction in her budget. We'll cover some of that budget management today. George says prioritizing leads. Matthew also says lead generation and customer acquisition. Daniela says she's not sure where to start, totally fair. Jenny says she's finding fresh ideas, but keeping consistent branding can definitely be a challenge. Some other folks saying understanding how to make the most for like their industry, for example, B2B and so on. Natasha also says a lack of budget is the biggest challenge when it comes to planning. Lots of folks saying they're having trouble predicting their performance. Sean says keeping up with new technology. Kim says just planning period, that it's definitely a struggle for sure. Andrew says keeping up with Google changes. We do cover that throughout the year, so I can understand that. Emil says finding the right audience. Oh my gosh, I wish I could call out all of these. These are all really great answers, but if you notice, there weren't a lot that I called out more than once. So everyone on this call is going to be in a different situation. So I want you to be thinking about that as I give you these general best practices and guidelines. Think about how it can apply to your specific and unique situation. So even if you feel like you have a really niche industry or you have a really specific set of challenges, we're all here for the same purpose. So give yourselves a pat on the back for showing up today for your marketing, and let's dive in. So we're going to just cover quickly the 2025 marketing trends, how to set yourself up for success. We'll give you an action plan for 2025, marketing ideas month by month for Q1, and then we'll also leave you with a few thought starters and jump into the Q&A section at the end where I can answer your questions in what feels like almost like a one-on-one setting. So let's dive into the marketing trends first for 2025, because I can't believe it, but we're only 2 months away from the new year. So yeah, AI, is anyone surprised to see this slide? Of course, we're going to be talking about AI first and foremost when it comes to your marketing for 2025. And it is going to be still a major factor for your 2025 marketing. In fact, 85% of marketers already are planning to lean on AI for generating social ad and email copy from scratch, which likely means that you're going to also want to incorporate AI too to keep up with your competitors. Now, that's just one example. AI is used throughout the marketing process at this point. However, keep in mind that there are different ways that you can plug it in. So take a moment to evaluate where AI could help you most. Some ways to use AI are to generate and improve social media posts, create videos, repurpose old content, help with ideation, analyze data quickly, automate repetitive tasks like email follow-up, and work with ad targeting. Now, it's important to remember that with AI, that the power is usually in the prompts. So your AI outputs are only going to be as good as the prompts that you put in. And we have a ton of resources both on Local IQ and WordStream that I actually wrote on hundreds and hundreds of AI prompts, AI prompt tips, ways to construct the best AI prompts. So I could actually talk about AI prompts for a long time. But what I'll say is, at the end of the day, it's still a computer and can only produce based on the quality of the input. So if you find the right prompts, you'll see time saving, you'll see save time, improved engagement, and more personalized interactions. And as with most things, you can start by Googling the best prompts for your specific tasks. And again, I know our blog has a ton of articles with prompt ideas. But at the end of the day, just be sure to check those outputs and consider a few things before you launch. You're going to want to know your audience and stay authentic to ensure that the output is reflective to your business and a human. And also, even Google acknowledges that AI is still experimental and info quality can vary. So if you do choose to opt to use AI for tasks like automated ad targeting or ad creation, be sure to keep a close eye on it and its output and performance so you can catch mistakes and errors quickly. Basically, what I'm trying to say is AI should never be the last step before something goes live. You should be the last step before something goes live. You want to make that final edit, those final tweaks. So you can use AI for ideation. You can use it when you're in a pinch. You can use it when you need ideas or when you need to save time or you're tight on resources, tight on bandwidth. But at the end of the day, that should be only used for like the first draft of any type of content you're generating or anything like that. You still want to give it that final edit, that final touch. So secondly, our next trend here is video marketing. So video marketing is still key. You can think of video marketing almost as an extension of your SEO. You can use targeted keywords and titles to script video descriptions and tags. Facebook videos even show up in Google search along with YouTube. These video results also appear from certain keywords when Google determines a video would be useful for that particular search term. So that's important to keep in mind. And then know that more than 50% of web traffic comes from mobile phones. So optimizing video for mobile devices is also really important. And finally, you want to turn your video viewers into lead buyers. So 72% of consumers would rather learn about a product or service through video than text. So it's a great strategy for product videos, how-to demonstrations, or even introductions to your team for a more personalized marketing strategy. So whether you choose to go for the short form or long form, and we'll get into some of that too, it's a really effective strategy and it's definitely trending for 2025. All right, great. So moving on here, we're going to just continue to discuss why video is so important. Well, it is a key part of any type of content that people like to consume. In fact, it's the preferred type of content that people like to consume, and 87% of marketers have attributed sales back to their video marketing efforts. So no matter your industry, size, your business size, or your budget, one thing is clear: your business can benefit from video content, and people like it. It brings in customers. Now, one other thing to consider when incorporating your video strategy is, of course, the video length. So I did allude to this in the last couple of slides, but we're going to go into this a little bit more in depth here. We are dealing with shorter attention spans in 2025, right? There's tons of short form video content out there. So just finding the right spot, that sweet spot for the video length is really important. So for example, if you're doing like a company culture video, it's best kept at 2 to 4 minutes, allowing enough time to showcase company values and environment, versus a sales video should really be between 30 to 90 seconds. Shorter videos for colder prospects and longer ones for more engaged audiences. And I actually have kind of a real life anecdote to this, as where I continue to evaluate vendors in my day-to-day life. And I just recently found one that was great, but the only videos they had were like 10-minute long videos on their product. And I was not watching that because I'm busy and I'm in my work day. So if I could have just gotten a bite-sized video of what they were offering, that would have been a lot more helpful. And I'm sure you all can kind of relate to a lot of these concepts as we're consumers ourselves. And then some other examples like email. If you're embedding a video into an email, that should be around 30 to 45 seconds, concise enough to maintain interest. Testimonial videos, so any sort of like reviews you want to highlight, maybe keep that to 2 to 4 minutes. So you can kind of notice a pattern here, like with the channel, right? If it's something on your website or something to build your brand, you could probably get away with a little bit longer. If it's something to really push sales or services, you should probably err to this shorter side. Or if it's, for social media, that should also be a little bit shorter as well. Now, again, I know this is a lot of information on one slide, so just a reminder, this will be recorded and you'll get a copy of the slides in your inbox later today. So another trend for 2025 is the cross-channel approach to drive website traffic. I cannot stress the cross-channel approach enough. I honestly talk about it all the time because it is so important when you think about all the potential touch points that your business has with potential customers across the web, right? It's not just your website or just your social media now. It is all these different channels combined into one. So here are some examples or some ways of how you some tips on how to implement a cross-channel strategy. First, you might want to get active on social media. So TikTok and Instagram are becoming a new search engine of sorts, with users turning to sites to find and engage with businesses. Make sure that they can find you there by investing in a strong paid and organic social strategy. So you want to get found where your customers are. This means investing in channels like display advertising, email marketing, SMS marketing, and more, so you can reach your customers wherever they're spending time online. And then you'll also want to continue optimizing for search engines. SEO is not dead, and we'll revisit that concept later, but we're not counting Google out by any means. I know that we've seen a lot of ebbs and flows within the Google landscape, but it's important to continue optimizing your site for SEO so that you can keep driving traffic. So you just want to be driving as much traffic as you possibly can to your website across all these channels. So think about that customer journey across those channels, right? So if they go to look you up on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, make sure that your business is easily found and easily recognized as well, right? You don't want them questioning whether the profile that they found is legit. You don't want them questioning whether they found the right business. And then they might go on to Google search after they check out your social media, look you up, and then they'll hop to your website or whatever it may be. So be thinking about those potential touch points. I have a few more examples of that that I'll discuss later, but definitely just a tip of the iceberg for what we'll talk about for today. I'm really excited. So if you needed further proof of why a cross-channel strategy is the way to go, I've got the numbers to prove it. Online content consumption has increased by 30% in the last year. So that's just across all of online. And as you see, every minute of the day, there are 5.7 million Google searches, and that's growing each day. So people are constantly searching online, searching for your business. So odds are your customers are as well. And with that, there are also 2.1 million people active on Facebook every minute. So you can tell that people are no longer in just one corner of the internet. So now your business needs to be in all of those places in order to get in front of today's busy and distracted consumers. So let's look at an example. So here it's all about creating that seamless customer journey. So think about that cross-channel strategy that involves creating a unified and personalized customer experience across multiple channels. Understanding your consumer's behavior at each step of the buyer's journey will help you identify which offers will best align with each stage. So you want to be thinking about your marketing funnel at this point. So follow your customers across the web, from social media to YouTube and everywhere in between, keeping your business top of mind and increasing customer engagement. This type of strategy amplifies your visibility and drives more business. And this particular journey is an example of how our cross-media technology here at Local IQ moves budget across channels based on engagement so that your business could feasibly follow the prospects wherever they go on the internet until they finally make a purchase. So one example that I love using, and I'll probably reference this again, is the classic example I used to deal with when working with B2B clients. Now I've worked with all sorts of different types of businesses and clients when it comes to advertising and marketing on the web. So I've worked with small service-based businesses, local businesses, enterprises, and B2B businesses as well. So the common mistake with B2B businesses, and I know not everyone on this call is B2B, but this is a good kind of just learning point, I think, for everyone, is they might want to run some display ads, right, to pique the interest of their customers. And you can choose on Google Ads kind of where you're going to serve those display ads. Now, a really common mistake is they think about, I want to show my display ads on websites that connect back to what this decision maker does all day in their office job or whatever it is. And I know personally when I'm working, I'm not always consuming content about my work, right? These decision makers for these that could be potential customers for these B2B businesses are not reading all day long about the types of services that this potential vendor could be providing. They're thinking about their weekend plans, maybe checking the weather. They're thinking about what they want to cook for dinner that night after they get out of work, and maybe looking up a recipe. So it's actually really effective to be thinking about all the different touch points that your potential customer could be having with your business that might be kind of outside the box. So while it doesn't feel super natural to, as a B2B business, to be advertising on types of sites that may not connect directly back to your service, it can actually be really effective because you'll still be catching those types of people, and there's other ways you can target and refine from there. So I'll refer back to that example a lot because I just think it's a really good kind of learning experience for everyone. It's just to think outside of the box a little bit when it comes to your customer journey. So this isn't an exhaustive list of what different types of marketing channels you should be using, but these are the most common. So everything from local, social ads, email marketing, OTT or over the top display advertising, which is essentially video marketing through streaming services, other display tactics, and more. There are a lot of different options to consider. But remember, no two advertising channels or platforms are created equal, just like no two businesses are the same, right? So what works for your business may not, one business may not work for yours or your target audience. Think about what makes sense for your business, your goals, and your customers. And we'll continue to go through that. And again, I know this is a lot of information, so another friendly reminder that this will be recorded and you will get a copy of the slides. But I will say, if you're thinking about your planning for 2025, these are the most popular channels, and we do have an exhaustive list of marketing channels over on the WordStream blog. So here's how you can implement a cross-channel marketing strategy. Now, we're going to get into all of these steps here, but this is just a series of suggested steps, so not exhaustive of best practices that will help you determine which channels are right for your business. It starts with first understanding your marketing goals and objectives, which we'll talk more about shortly. Then moves into understanding your audience. You can do this through customer data from your website or simply surveying your customers. Finding out how they shop, are they coming in store or interacting with you mostly online? Do they use Facebook or are they more on Twitter or X as we call it now? Asking these simple questions can help you determine the right channels and data for what's best to pinpoint your efforts and put towards each channel. Each audience is different, so it's important to segment your audience by demographics that make the most sense to your business. But no matter the audience, your brand and messaging should stay consistent. Then we say it all the time on here and through all of our webinars is to track and analyze your reporting to see what's working. It's a lot, and it can especially be a lot when you're juggling a lot of the day-to-day work environment dealings with your business or you're managing clients. But hopefully these tips help you get started and put you into a better place to have these conversations with resources that can help. So reporting is really important. I know it can seem overwhelming, like if you see this chart on this graphic over on the left, which you can easily find on the Local IQ blog, about what happens on every minute on the internet each day. But the point of this is not to overwhelm you, but to let you know that their options are really endless. So try to stick to the basics when it comes to your planning. Think about your goals. Think about the data and how you're going to target your audience, and then think about how you're going to measure it and what success will look like for you. So we have a few more steps here just to kind of cover what an ideal marketing plan would look like. But from there, we're going to jump into the 2025 planning. So we'll go through those steps a little bit more in depth. And again, you will see those steps again as you get a copy of the recording and the slides. So first, let's start with establishing your goals. So looking at the current state of your business will help bring clarity. Knowing what you need to improve on will bring to light which strategies could be the best fit and how you support them with your marketing budget. When you're setting up your marketing budget goals, try to stick with the acronym SMART. Some of you might already be familiar with this, but it stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So for example, one of your SMART goals could be to grow your Instagram following by 5% in 30 days through weekly video posts. Again, an example that I always kind of say in this concept here is that, it's common when, talking to businesses that are looking to grow to just be like, you know, in this example that I just referenced, I want to grow my Instagram following. Okay, that's great, but let's kind of break that down into a more realistic and achievable goal, right? Where you want to grow your Instagram following by this much within this time period by doing this X amount of times per week, and you're going to check in on your results on this day, and you're going to measure your results on that day, and this is what, you know, success will look like, and this is what you're going to do if you don't see that, right? So always having that backup plan, thinking about how you're going to pivot as you go, can really help you make more sense of your goals. Now, getting ahead of your content as much as possible with monthly social schedules using free resources like our planning calendar, as you can see here, can definitely help. So again, just making sure that you're getting ahead of your content and pre-planning your content is really important. So this is just an example of our free marketing calendar, which you can check out. Is releasing this month, and you can download for free. So there's tons of templates like this out there, but it just helps you outline your content months in advance, use scheduling features so to take an additional load off your team. All right, great. So here are a few more examples of the areas of your business of where you could break up your marketing budget. So as you create your marketing budget, which helps inform your strategy, it also outlines all the money that you'll spend on your marketing related projects over a year, so year over year. So you have your goals, you know, kind of month by month, maybe within at least the first couple quarters, what you're probably going to promote. So how are you going to split that up across channels? Well, it's going to depend on your budget. So when you implement a multi-channel marketing strategy, a marketing budget helps you understand how much to spend on each channel, as well as other factors on how to influence to market for your business. So a few examples of areas of your business that could be part of a marketing budget. It's not just the campaign budget themselves, but oftentimes there's a need for creative design and branding services, investments in marketing technologies to help with posting or reporting, software for tracking, website services or hosting fees, investment with freelancers or contractors. And not all of these will make sense for your business, but think through what you need to accomplish your marketing goals and what budget you need for each segment. Getting ahead of these elements will keep surprises from popping up and unforeseen costs from eating away at your bottom line. It can also help you better understand your return on an investment and fully understand your total investment. Now, I am going to tweak how I would approach this normally, just because I did see in the chat a lot of questions coming up in the beginning about marketing budget. So I will add that we do have an in-depth marketing budget breakdown on the Local IQ site. So you can find that on the Local IQ blog, where you can easily find just a quick guide on how to set up a marketing budget, how to split it up, how much you should be going into it, what to consider, and how to manage it. So we do have a lot of resources on that on both blogs, on both sites. And particularly there's an article I wrote on the Local IQ blog about this. So I do want to mention that because I know there was a lot of questions there. But the other thing I will say is I'm happy to answer any questions in the Q&A further about how to segment your marketing budget. But basically, you kind of just want to refer back to your goals and see what your priorities are, and also be considering the needs of each channel too. So while search ads, for example, might not necessarily be the biggest priority for your business, maybe in like the first quarter of 2025, but it might be the one channel that requires the most budget to really see results. So you also kind of want to be realistic about your expectations versus your budgeting. And I can get into that more later too. So moving on here, you also want to be, a few more budgeting tips is don't guess. There's plenty of tools out there that can help. So if you work on your social media marketing, Facebook's budget and schedule section allows you to define on which days or even which hours of the day you want to increase your budget above the daily budget that you've initially set. So use your daily budget as a reference point, and you can increase or decrease your budget based on your business's high demand periods, which helps control costs and ensure you're showing up to the right people when you need to be. So yeah, again, just be thinking about the tools at your fingertips to help manage your budget. And you can find these right within your advertising platforms. So within Google, we also have Google's campaign budget simulator, which helps you see how different bids might change your ads weekly performance in areas like costs or number of clicks, impressions, conversions, and conversion values. So you can kind of predict what to expect based on the certain budgets that you choose. And lastly, for those who work with Local IQ, This might be a familiar screen, and if not, it's certainly been used by your digital marketing expert. But our local IQ grader is a website grader, budget proposal tool, and competitor analysis system all in one, giving 3 different levels of budgeted recommendations and suggestions on how to improve your overall marketing. So you're not alone, and you don't have to guess your marketing budget out of thin air or even how to segment it. So you can use these tools. And you can find our website grader right on our website for free. So speaking of budget, let's get into how to maximize yours for this year. So check your industry averages. You should be thinking about how anticipating costs and how much things will be costing you across channels. So for example, our Google Ads benchmarks found that the overall average cost per click in Google Ads is $4.66. So if you want to get roughly 10 clicks a day, for example, at that price, you would bring your monthly budget to about $1,398. Now, I know that might be seeming low or high for folks on this call, depending on where they're at. But again, that's just kind of an example of how you need to set your budget expectations, right? If you can't afford that much, totally okay. But be ready to generate less clicks because you can't necessarily afford to get that many clicks right away. And that's okay. And as you build historical data and get a better quality score in your Google Ads account, for example, you might be able to get away with a lower cost per click and still rank and then get more clicks over time with a lower budget. So using industry resources like this will help you anticipate across channels and budget allocation. So you want to also make sure you're using the right bidding strategy when it comes to Google and Facebook. So try to gain an understanding of which bidding strategies are right for your business and how they might impact the pacing of your spend. So for example, in Google, maximize conversions is usually found to spend at a more aggressive rate since it's prioritizing placements and clicks that are more likely to convert. And it might be more expensive because of that. Again, if you work with Local IQ, we do have automations and optimizations in place to automatically adjust your bids so that you're always getting the best bang for your buck across channels. You also want to incorporate other channels besides search into your strategy. So that's why we took the concept of Facebook and Google and kind of ran with it, because another reason outside of just search that expanding outside of just search is a good move is it's because it's more affordable a lot of the time. In recent years, most industries have seen a decline in performance and an increase in cost in Google Ads. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that Google Ads should be written off. It's still super effective for driving leads for your business, and we have tons of case studies that back that up. However, cost and performance in Facebook ads, be that as it may, have been relatively stable and in some cases improved. So although running search ads is still critical for business growth online, our updated benchmarks report that Facebook advertising continues to be the perfect complement to Google Ads. And I'll briefly walk you through some of these numbers here on the right. So for Facebook lead ad and traffic campaigns, overall click-through rate across all industries improved over last year. But while you should prioritize a high click-through rate for your Facebook ads, we know, of course, this isn't the most important metric for lead ads specifically. Average cost per click for the leads objective in Facebook has increased for 80% of industries. This follows a similar trend that we saw in our Google Ads benchmarks, where 86% of industries saw an increase in cost per click. Cost per click is still relatively low for lead ads in Facebook at $1.88 compared to $4.66 again in Google Ads. However, meanwhile, cost per click largely decreased year over year for the traffic objective, making them both campaign objectives in Facebook, which are the two that we looked at here, economical complements to search. Conversion rate has improved overall year over year for lead ads as well across most industries, with the biggest industries, and we do go into this in depth on our blog and on past webinars for industrial and commercial, dentists and dental services, and real estate have all seen increases. So if you're in some of those industries, congrats. If you're not, that's okay. We have data on your industry too. Just for the sake of time, just calling out some of those highlights. For the leads objective, cost per lead also decreased on Facebook for 6 out of 15 industries that we've looked at. An average cost per lead across all industries is $21.98. This is substantially lower than the average cost per leads of Google Ads, which is currently at $66.69. It's also interesting to note that cost per lead decreased year over year for leads ads because leads ads are driving more are optimized for leads, that could account for the lower CPL. So it's like naturally going to convert a little bit more. And when you get more conversions, naturally your cost per lead is going to go down. So just be thinking about that because of these metrics and the shift of social filling all stages of the marketing funnel. It's great to, working with Facebook ads is a great addition to search to offset costs and improve performance. So if we're talking about Facebook ads budgeting specifically, it is one of the most cost-effective social ad channels, as we just saw in that data there. It's also been proven in their stats that we reference here on our blog from this to deliver the highest ROI for advertisers out of all social ad platforms. And it's still the most popular. And if you're scratching your head as to why Facebook ads is so popular, just keep in mind that when you're advertising on Facebook ads, it's not just on Facebook, right? Facebook ads, you're allowed to choose placements across Facebook Messenger, across Instagram, WhatsApp even now. So, you know, if you feel like your audience isn't on Facebook, that's okay. They're probably on Instagram, you know, so you want to be running on both. And if you're looking for more support with navigating AI and Facebook ads and beyond, see how our solutions can help you maximize your campaign success and stay ahead of major platform changes. So again, this is another infographic of that cross-media technology and budget optimization that I mentioned and alluded to earlier. So if you're struggling with your bidding and your budget across Google and Facebook, this can be a really key solution. So moving on here, you can also consider your unpaid channels when it comes to your 2025 marketing planning. So most of us are familiar with repurposing a blog article into a few social media posts. Now you can use unpaid channels for unlimited ROI, and content repurposing is pretty simple. You want to get the greatest reach with the fewest amount of resources, and that's how you can really scale marketing while staying on budget. The three main benefits of repurposing content is, of course, it saves time. You can create several assets quickly from one root piece of content. Also, you can scale your ideation, so filling your marketing calendar without having to come up with a new idea for every post, which is honestly usually the hardest part of content marketing, and it increases your online footprint. So one root piece of content can find an audience on multiple channels once you repurpose it across channels. Now we do have a real world example of this. So this example comes from Brittany Wren, a wordsmith that we found, and one of Brittany's nonprofit clients. Nonprofits don't always have huge budgets, right? So they have, but with a little creativity, you can make a big impact by repurposing a few ideas on unpaid channels. So Brittany Wren turned a single 30-minute executive interview into countless free impressions across all of these different channels. So you can do that as well with the content that you create just by tweaking it for individual channels across the marketing funnel. And moving on here, lastly, you also want to still be considering your SEO. So while we are more focused on Facebook ads and Google ads in this presentation, know that local SEO is not dead. It's not dead. So it's important to continue optimizing your site for SEO best practices so you can keep driving traffic here. It'll help complement and grow your Facebook ad and Google ad strategies. The state of local SEO can still see major gains just by executing simple strategies. Executing 5 relatively simple, if not always easy, SEO tactics can generate great returns for small businesses from SEO. So for example, you want to be optimizing your Google business profile. 80% of consumers won't trust a local business unless their online listings are correct. And we have a free listings grader on our website that you can use to check if your listings are accurate. Now, I know this is easier said than done, and I will say that because I just recently got an email from an old client who said, I'm sick of, he's in the auto industry, I will admit, and he said, I'm sick of dealing with lower ratings and negative reviews, and I'm thinking about just deleting my Google business profile. And when I tell you all the heart attack that I had when I read that, because I said, oh, please don't delete your Google business profile. That is the worst thing you could possibly do. Now, of course, I didn't say that to him. I, gently led him in the right direction of, I understand that, and it is definitely frustrating. I get it, to have negative reviews just hanging out there and you can't get rid of them. There's nothing you can really do. But the best course of action is to keep that Google business profile and to keep optimizing it. I know it's not always fun or easy to be responding to every review, especially when they're negative, but you need to be responding to every review, especially especially the negative ones. If not all, at least be responding to the negative ones, because responding to those reviews, a couple of like quick hacks. Well, for one, it makes you seem like you care and other people are reading that. And then the other thing too is all of your responses kind of get listed out. So if you want to kind of maybe make your list of reviews seem a little bit longer, you'll have your responses listed out there too. So people will have more to scroll through. So maybe over time you could potentially bury some of those negative reviews. Now, I know that's not necessarily like, you know, a grade A marketing best practice, but in this situation, when I got an email where someone was really debating on deleting it, I was like, no, there's so many other things that you can do to squeeze the most out of your Google business profile. So keep optimizing it, keep adding photos to it, keep adding information. We have tons of resources online of things that you can do with your Google business profile. So again, consumers are out there and they're looking to trust your business based on those types of local listings. I'll stop there because on the Google business profile thing, because as you could tell, I could probably talk about that for a while. But some other local SEO tactics, you want to be auditing links and on-page elements to make sure that there are no broken or outdated links on your website. You also want to be updating any sort of location pages, local services businesses. I'm looking at you. A lot of local businesses that were service-based that I've worked with in the past had location-specific pages. So thinking about the targeting your town, city versus your service and business type with location pages for areas that you service, even if you aren't located there, is very valuable. So you can still find SEO value in those types of pages. You also want to be sure you're still creating informational content on your website. Lots of targeted informational content can perform well on service sites like product reviews and roundups, glossary style overviews, and how-to content about topics relating to your core service offerings. And try building links, which I know as a content marketer myself is easier said than done, but you can seek out guest posts, local press, local partnership opportunities, and more. So SEO is a long-term game, right? That requires consistent effort, patience, and adaptability, but it builds long-lasting benefits over time. So think of your Facebook ads and your Google ads as that faucet that you turn on, and once you put some budget behind those campaigns, you'll start to see the leads and the clicks come in. But for SEO, you might need to play a little bit of a longer term game, but it can be all that much more valuable. And there is no better feeling than going and looking up your business and seeing your search ads ranking and your organic listings ranking, and then you're just dominating the search engine results page. So you want to be thinking about your local SEO as well. So let's take a look at what a Q1 marketing plan might look like month by month. So starting off on January here, let me pull this up. So for January, you want to be thinking about your marketing must-haves. 75% of people are going to be judging your business based on the credibility of your website design. So take this as your fresh start. Hold on 1 second here. Just going to switch back to that slide. So back to your January planning. If you were to think about where you want to start, you want to be thinking about how you can just improve your overall online presence. So with that being said, you might be thinking about how can you improve your website, improve your business's credibility, think about your quick tips, making your site responsive, and so on. Check that your content information is prominent and test links. You know, again, just kind of like troubleshooting, setting yourself up for success. This is a good time to maybe test any of the offers that you currently have running, making sure that the tracking is solid, things like that, because you don't want to be halfway through 2025 and find out that offers that you were running weren't properly tracked or attributed, and you could have been getting more out of that. So you might think of some social calendar ideas that we have are, you know, running a 25% off sale to celebrate the year of 2025. We also have some email subject line examples, more promotion ideas based on social media holidays and monthly observances like Martin Luther King Day. So we do have all of this in our marketing calendar for 2025. So again, just kind of a friendly reminder, you can download that for free. And again, it's just kind of a fun, easy way to check that out and to see what you should be promoting each month. So this is just kind of a snapshot of that. Now for February, for example, you might be thinking about your social media, taking your channels to the next level. So for example, 60% of Instagram users say they discover new businesses on the platform. So people are definitely looking for your business on Instagram. And there's a great stat out there, I wish I knew it off the top of my head, but that kind of says there's just tons. I want to say like half of the Instagram profiles are business profiles. It's something like that, or there's just like a staggering amount of business profiles. So you really want to be optimizing your Instagram profile and making yourself stand out. So you might start with a posting schedule for the year that you start ramping up in February, trying different social posts and so on. And again, when we're talking Facebook ads, we're talking Instagram ads too. So again, here are some social calendar ideas. Of course, Super Bowl Sunday, you might want to hit Valentine's Day as well. You can run some sales. Also, don't forget your diversity, equity, and inclusion marketing. So thinking about Black History Month and ways that you can honor that. Also, any sort of like health-related things. If you're in a health industry, we have Heart Disease Awareness Month and so on. And then finally, in Q1, we would have March, right? So how you might approach March is you might start thinking about some marketing efforts that might take a little bit more planning or may require a little bit more ramp up. So for example, email marketing, maybe at the beginning of the year, you start building an email list with some of those other channels that you started implementing. And then you would go ahead and put out a targeted email campaign. So you might be optimizing your subject lines, you might be thinking about your email content. We have tons and tons of email ideas online. I just posted an article about one on Look Like You today, so definitely check that out. Some other ideas that you can incorporate into your email marketing, into your social marketing and more. Of course, in March, we would have St. Patrick's Day. We also have Employee Appreciation Day, which could fit for any business out there. And then, of course, thinking back to our diversity, equity, inclusion is Women's History Month. So that's just an example of how you might approach your marketing for Q1 for 2025. Let's move on to some thought starters, some key takeaways that I want you all to walk away with today. So how you can dominate Google and Facebook and frankly all channels in 2025 is first to embrace the trends. If you think back to the beginning of this presentation, we went through all of these key marketing trends that included leveraging AI tools, investing in short form video content and more. Also planning ahead. If you've attended any of our past webinars, you know I love to say this, and it's so true. If there's one thing you all take away from this presentation is always, always, always have a backup plan, right? So be thinking about those SMART goals and be thinking about your year coming up, and consider really like, all right, if I implement this campaign, what is success going to look like for me, and how am I going to measure that? And if I hit that, right? Let's think about the positive side. If I hit that, what am I going to do from there? Am I going to scale? Am I going to let that cruise and try something else? Am I going to stop and just, kind of pivot my strategy? Think about the positive, like what you're going to do if you reach those goals, and then have that backup plan, right? If it doesn't work out how I want it, if it doesn't perform how I expect, what am I going to do instead? How am I going to pivot my strategy? Am I going to put more budget towards it? Am I going to keep trying with it? Try a new approach? Am I going to pause it and try a completely different campaign? Be thinking ahead so that you're always set up for success, and also be thinking about the gaps in your marketing too, right? So if this search campaign doesn't work out, what other channels am I running to supplement that, right? So if maybe you're not ranking right away in 2025 when it comes to your search ads, could you potentially be running some social media promotions that could be still getting your business out there and making it easy for your users for your potential customers to find your business on social media if they can't find you on search? Of course, that's like a worst case scenario, but again, I'm just kind of trying to get you to think here. And then be open-minded to trying new things. So you want to, again, be implementing that cross-channel strategy, using Facebook ads and Google ads in unison, and creating that seamless customer journey. Now, again, I know this can be easier said than done, and I feel like I've also dealt with in the past a lot of businesses that have like tried and true campaigns or strategies that they've seen work in the past. So they're kind of like married to it, and they say, I don't understand why it's not working. Like it's always worked in this year and this year and this year. But at the end of the day, the landscape is changing, so your performance is going to change. So be ready to pivot and keep an open mind. You know, if a campaign that has historically performed well no longer does, that's okay. That just means that you would need to, you know, kind of edit and tweak your strategy from there. So just a few key takeaways there. Now, I know this was a ton of information, and thank you for sticking with me through it all, because I know it was a lot. I mean, I've been in the digital marketing game for a long time, and even for me, this is a lot. So for everyone on this call, if you feel like you have more questions, feel free to hit yes on this poll to, you know, get claim a free digital marketing assessment, so you can talk with an expert one-on-one at a time of your choosing to kind of understand better the top Facebook and Google strategies for 2025. And for all of the folks putting in questions about their specific industry or their specific business, I'm looking at you for this one, right? So I won't be able to answer all of those potential questions right now in the Q&A sessions that we're going to transition into, but this is your opportunity to get those questions answered in a one-on-one setting. So I'm going to leave that poll up. It's going to take over your whole screen. So please, you know, if you answer that poll, sit back and relax. We're just going to switch into an audio portion for the final few minutes here, and I'm going to answer your questions. So we're switching into that Q&A session. If you haven't yet put in your questions into the question box, put them in now. And a ton of questions coming in. Valerie asked, what is the best live chat app for websites? Good question. I hate to say it, Valerie, I'm going to be a little biased, but Local IQ does have a chat solution, so I would probably say ours. But there are tons out there, and we actually have a full list of different chat tools and chat tips on the WordStream and Local IQ blog, so I would definitely check that out. Kelly actually asked, how do I contact you after the seminar? Kelly, this poll is for you. If you hit yes on that poll, you'll be able to contact us after the seminar as well. Ashley also kind of looking at these folks that are asking questions about their specific industry. She said she has a very niche B2B software company. How do you recommend the best bid strategy for Google Ads? This can definitely be tough. She said that she's feeling like she flatlined with maximized clicks. Feels like she can't get any traction with Google, but she also doesn't feel like they fit on Facebook or social media except for LinkedIn. I've seen actually B2B work great on Facebook, so I would say don't give up on Facebook yet. And if you've tried it, maybe even if you tried it in the last year, Facebook has come out with so many new features and targeting options within like the last 6 months, not even, that I think could work for B2B for sure. So I would say don't give up on Facebook. As far as your bidding strategy, of course, I can't give like specific advice without really diving in here. So again, that's why this poll is up. But if you're feeling like you're getting zero conversions, a couple of things I would say. Maybe you're getting zero conversions from your search campaigns, but you're building awareness through them, and you're getting something that we call view-through conversions if you're also running any other channels where people are seeing your ads, searching for your business, clicking on your ads, but then converting from channels elsewhere. So you might still be seeing some efficacy there. Also, the other thing I will say for everyone on this call that is questioning their Google Ads performance, it's all dependent on what you track and the goals that you track. So you can count kind of anything you want as a conversion, right? So if I want to count website like button clicks or video views as a conversion, then my conversion numbers are going to inflate like crazy, right? And then it's going to look like I'm doing great. Those aren't really money-making conversions. So be thinking about that too. If you're kind of limiting yourself to like one very hard, like low funnel conversion action, yeah, you're probably going to see a little bit of a lower conversion rate. The other thing that I would say is there are a few other bidding strategies outside of maximize clicks that you could try. And also, I do know that there are some accounts still on manual as well. So that's another option too. So again, I won't give like a specific bidding strategy for you to switch to without actually seeing what's going on in your account, but those are just some words of advice or things to consider for you. Great questions here. Tons more questions coming in. Folks asking about the recording. This will be recorded. You'll get the materials in your inbox later today. Lisa says, many say that YouTube ads are the magic bullet for lead generation. What is your experience? Great question, Lisa. And this relates back to the B2B question before. it is a great lead generation driver. YouTube ads have actually been pretty successful for almost every single account I've seen from both B2B and B2C. So definitely want to try that. Other folks asking about questions for their specific industries, special categories on Facebook ads, definitely a struggle, so I understand that. But again, I wish I could answer all of your questions, but I know we're getting close to time, so thank you all for participating and for joining and for hearing me out on all these different marketing strategies for 2025. I wish you the best of luck in 2025. Please know that we'll have the materials in your inbox later today. You can find this recording online. We do these webinars monthly, so we have a second webinar coming up at the end of this month, which is really exciting, on some new exclusive data that we're releasing. So really excited to see you all there for that. If you all need anything else, again, I kind of gave you some references of where you can find more information on what we covered here. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for joining.